If you haven't seen in some of the previous videos that I have been uploading, I got the chance to mess around and play with the Sony FX3, a cinema line camera from Sony themselves. And it was an experience getting the chance to mess around with it and play around with it a little bit, because I've never actually got the chance to use a cinema camera. So it was very different. There was a lot of functions that I quite didn't understand, but it was the same type of ordeal for the camera that I own now and what I'm using currently, which is the Sony A7S III. But because this one still has features for you to take photos, you can still take photos on the FX3, but since this one is more of that camera body style that we're used to, it was different. It was very different, and today's review is not going to be mostly about specs and things like that. I'm sure there's a plethora of other videos on YouTube that you can watch that go more into detail of that, but this video is just a hands-on basic review from somebody that is not the best with filmmaking, but I do what I have to do. The FX3 is actually one of the only cinema cameras that I've ever actually gotten to use. There are functions that are the same as the camera that I own, which is the Sony A7S III, but there were other functions on there that were different from the camera that I have. One of the functions that I couldn't really get used to was that a lot of the dials and the buttons were different than on my camera body. There's buttons all over the actual camera body for the FX3, and there's even different buttons that you use for recording, which was very convenient. I'll say that, because I know that with my A7S III, I sometimes have issues hitting the record button or trying to find it because I have it on a small rig cage. But when I used the FX3, it was very, very convenient to have all these different buttons for the recording feature, because it's a cinema camera. That's what the camera is for. It's not meant for photography or even, like, I wouldn't say basic videos. It's a cinema line camera, so you're gonna get cinema line quality out of it. I am sweating. I don't know why I'm sweating so hard. I loved how small the camera body was. I think it is very convenient nowadays to have small camera bodies, especially when you're a person like me who is on the go, who's running gun and does a lot of stuff outdoors or vlogs in different places. It was nice to actually have a smaller camera body compared to my A7S III. I've actually been debating on getting a second camera specifically for vlogging. I mean, I don't mind vlogging on my phone. I used to vlog on my phone all the time, and luckily enough, phones nowadays are super duper high quality and can shoot in 4K and things like that. It takes up so much storage to shoot in 4K on a phone. It doesn't matter what phone you use. I even had a 256 gigabyte iPhone, and it would take up all the storage just for me vlogging on it. So I think I need a dedicated camera for that, which I would maybe even think of getting the FX3 for that, or I've been actually looking at the Sony ZV-1, which is a very other convenient vlogging camera that a lot of people end up buying themselves too. I love that Sony is starting to implicate a lot of features that vloggers and other filmmakers have been asking for, like a flip out screen. The Sony FX3 does have a flip out screen. It also is touchscreen. It does have this new menu system. Now everybody is kind of 50-50. A lot of Sony users don't like the new menu system that these new cameras have. They prefer the older one, but I actually enjoy this new one. I think it's very organized and clean, and it's actually easier for me to use compared to when I used to own the A7 III and all the other Sony cameras that I used to own that had that old menu system. I really lost my train of thought. Wow, that's crazy. Like hitting is gonna help my, okay. Now, I did have a couple of issues with the battery. The battery didn't last me that long, and I was using the Sony lithium batteries. I usually try to stay away from other branded batteries for Sony, because I know that with their actual batteries and the lithium batteries, they work perfectly fine. But even using those, the battery did drain pretty fast. I didn't get a chance to use the camera for the whole entire day because I didn't have a spare battery on me, and it took up most of the battery that I was using currently. But other than that, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was gonna be compared to a lot of cinema cameras, because I know from what I've heard from mutuals and other people like that these cinema cameras take up a lot of battery power because of all the focus features and all this and more. So I wasn't complaining about that. You know, I would just have to make sure that I bring an extra battery with me if I end up using the camera for a whole day or so. But overall, I had a pleasure using that camera. I had a lot of fun testing it out, trying to get test clips. I want to use it more often. I'm actually thinking of doing a mini short film using the camera with a couple of different lenses that I've been eyeing as well too. But I'm hoping that I get the chance to do that, and I'm hoping that I get the chance to give you more videos on this camera so you can find out if you want to get it for yourself. But other than that, that is pretty much it for this video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up. And I would really appreciate it if you did subscribe already, because we are getting so close to 8,000 subscribers, and it would make my day if we hit that soon. So right now on the screen, there is a face of me popping up. You can actually click that to subscribe. And on the other side of the screen is actually a video where I got the chance to actually test it out and show test footage from the actual camera. So if you want to see that, you can go ahead and click that over there on the other side. I'll hope to be seeing you guys over there, and I will see you soon. Bye.